playing Fijians. So we have a look at the teams. Australia captained by Ed Jenkins, and go to 7 and 11. Cameron Clark and Palmer Foe. They are both in the top 10 try-scoring list for this current series, coached by Geraint John. And for Portugal, well, Carl Murray is back on home ground. He was born in New Zealand, in Northland, comes from Waipu Cove, and of course Eduardo Esteves, number 7, scored 2 tries in that first up loss to Fiji, so he was in good form earlier on. Coach is Pedro Neto. Greg Clark in the chair, and alongside me, former New Zealand captain Dallas Seymour. What have you made of day one so far, Dallas?
I've been really impressed, thanks, Clarkie. It's looking at the standard of 7s right across the board. I mean, for starters, Wellington turns it on. I mean, it's fantastic weather. There's a bit of breeze about, which makes it, it makes it interesting when the ball's being kicked. But the standard of all the teams has been fantastic, especially the teams who are getting beating. There's no 60 or 70 point hidings now. These teams are really competitive, and as we saw in the last game, United States against France, what a boil over.
So it is Portugal in the red and white, Australia in the all gold. And they were quickly out of the blocks earlier on today. A tough first up game against Wales. They'd had trouble against Wales in recent times, but it was one-way traffic, dominated possession and field position, winning 36 points to 5. So the Australians lost the plate semi-final on the Gold Coast, lost the final in Dubai, losing to South Africa. They were third in Port Elizabeth, beating Argentina in that playoff for third and fourth. And Portugal lost the bowl semi-final on the Gold Coast, bowl semi-final in Dubai, and they actually turned the table and won something. They won the Shield MTE. So referee is Ben Krause from South Africa.
Are you ready? Good.
For Australia, he lays it back, gives it to Foley. Across now to Clark, who spots a gap, puts a foot on the gap, and then gets a beautiful ball away. And there is a great try first up to Jesse Patahi. What a start.
Yeah, fantastic start there for Australia. Jesse Patahi's just given himself a little bit of an injury, but fantastic piece of work. Good competition in the air, and the ball fell down to the Australians, took it straight forward, and look at all the players around there. Portugal, lots of players around there. Cameron Clark sees the gap, takes off, gets his arms over, and it's a great pass and good support play there by Jesse Patahi, and very good work to get the ball back closer under the post. But in putting it down, he looks like he's just done himself a little bit of an injury, but great start by Australia.
And so the conversion was unsuccessful. So 5 points to 0. And now Eduardo cleans this one up. He's taken by Holland immediately. Portugal looking to hit back from inside their own territory. Australia happy to show them the sideline. It's a bit sloppy there for Beretta. But it's still there for the Portuguese. Eduardo got away from one, chased now by Holland, and it's a big fend from Eduardo, isn't it? Esteves. And now they start to just try and move this Australian defence around, but they leave it behind. Cleaned up by Machus, and across it goes now to Leal, and over to Esteves again. Trying to put on a bit of footwork, taken there by Palmer Foe, but the support play is very good from Portugal. Mendes. Oh, and there's a little mistake after all that, so that's unfortunate for them. And so breaks down, but a bit of continuity there by the Portuguese.
Yeah, it's a fantastic piece of work, and the one thing that I'm really liking is that the Portuguese are working off the ball. The coach will be happy with that. He won't be happy with the last pass at the end, but again, great work. They're using the width of the ball. Eduardo, they know he is a real threat on attack, and they got people running off the ball. You can see all the Australian defence over there starting to be drawn in. There's 6 guys on within 50 metres of the field, so all Portugal have to do is hang on to their ball.
Set.
Stenner. And they go across now to Palmer Foe. the go-to man on the wing. Jenkins gets it to Stannard and makes plenty of stopping. He missed the last couple of tournaments, Jesse Patahi. Penalty goes against Australia. Holding on, so good work there by Portugal at the breakdown, and this is good field position for them as well. So I'll ask them questions here of the Australian defence. Second game on day one for both of these teams in Pool C.
Okay, let's go.
And still to come for Australia, Fiji. Australia beating Fiji in Dubai and also Port Elizabeth, so the Fijians will look to hit back in Wellington. So here's Leal having a go. Trying to duck under, they try and hold him up. Not the biggest of men, and now the penalty.
Release.
Goes against Australia again. So good continuity here. Good possession and field position for Portugal. Leal. Leal! Oh, he's over the line. Did he get it down? I think he has, or has he?
Just hold on.
Initially, it looked like it touched the grass. Not the biggest of men, but he backed himself.
Absolutely. Leal, he just... there's a good piece of work down the left side there. I mean, they've really pumped the Australians on the left-hand side, so they'll be feeling tired. Some great determination there by Leal to get himself over the line. So it looked like he might have got it down, but who knows? We'll see what happens with the ref.
Yellow, penalty yellow, and penalty 2 yellow. Right, number 9. 9. That's you. That's the elbow against the head. That's yellow.
Well, Pedro Leal can't believe it. In his 50th tournament, he's got a yellow card.
That was the elbow against the head.
An elbow against the head. So no try. And they're down a man, and the penalty goes to Australia. On the report of the assistant on the far side. And that's into touch from Lewis Holland. So he's going to be in the north. Now, Jesse Patahi has been replaced, so let's hope it's not a recurrence of an injury that he suffered last year. And Foley goes high, gives it to Jenkins, and now Stannard up over halfway. Oh, and there's another penalty. So unlike their earlier game where they dominated possession, Australia just can't get any momentum at all. Good tackle from Clark there on Estevez, and he gets up and plays the ball. He was entitled to do that. So there's a turnover. And now Foley getting it to Stannard. Across now to Lewis Holland. He has Palmafoe, and Palmafoe will back himself like he always does. Pops it back on the inside. Lost forward by Portugal, and now into touch. So they'll have the scrum first of all, you'd think.
And Portugal are competing really well here at the moment. I mean, Australia, Palmafoe hasn't really done much in this game and probably overcommitted himself there, but fantastic work there in defence by the Portuguese. Unfortunate not to turn their ball over, but they have got the ball now that the line that is to Portugal. If they can get the ball to Ederito and uses his determination and he is a threat in the game, they could be dangerous.
So it obviously came off an Aussie, but now the overthrow is there for Holland. No, he couldn't link up with Clark. It was a poor pass, and so Palmafoe goes back and starts again. They've really marked up well on... Oh, he's into touch as well. So they're out of sorts at the moment, the Australians.
Get our skills up.
And Garrett John, the new coach, is not happy. Well, he wasn't out there either. There's a couple of interesting calls from over the far side. So Portugal, it's down on the ground, and it's there again for Australia, but lost forward by Australia though. So inside the final minute of the first half, and Portugal have just got to hang in here.
Yeah, they're doing very well at the moment. They're not giving the Australians the leeway in attack and where they want to go. They're pushing them out wide. Palmafoe hasn't really done much, and unfortunately for the Australians, a couple of errors have crept into the game. They haven't been quite as intensive and deliberate on their attack, so the ball is going to the ground, and it's giving Portugal that little breathing space they need. And they're back to, as Leal has come back on the field, they're now back to 7, so it's a good competitive game.
Set.
Sam Myers on for Patahi. So can Portugal do some damage here, close to half-time. Yal gets the pass away to Beretta. Beretta pulled down from behind by Clark. And Clark does well again at the breakdown. And now Myers gets it to Stannard. And over on the far side, Estevez comes in to shut down Jenkins, but now it's Stannard. It's a foot race to the corner. Stannard cutting back on the inside. He's got too much footwork there, and Stannard will score. And a very timely try indeed for the Indians right on the stroke of half-time. So they're up by 10 points to 0, but gee, they've had to work hard. They've been out of sorts at times, but that is his second try now for the day.
And this comes all on the back of great work by Cameron Clark, turning that ball over. And Eduardo came to try and make that spot tackle, but he was right. He didn't time it right. And Stannard just blew the defence away. Easy trot over the line. So very good work there by Australia. The first time they've really stepped up, and a fantastic way to finish off the first half.
So we'll try and add the extra 2. Trying to convert his own try. And it is away. So 2 tries to 0. And it is Australia leading Portugal by 10 points to 0.
Yeah, I could do that with a bit of practice.
Shall I tell you something very interesting about this place? You cannot die or be buried here. Those are the laws. This place is a forensic treasure house.
The drama everyone is talking about. Fortitude on Sky Atlantic HD. Catch up now on demand.
Not much going on in there.
Reset the ball, go against. There we start. Take your time, get into position. The same people start, you know your roles. Right, Sammy, you take Jesse's role. Let's start now. Right? We've allowed them to be in this game to that last part.
So Garrett John, what a contrast. He was very happy at half-time in the earlier game against Wales, but he wants more from his side of the second half, and Portugal just need to hang in there and stay in touch. So the party continues on day 1 at Wellington. For the first time ever, the Wellington Sevens looks to break the 200 hours barrier for live coverage around the world. 19 broadcasters. That's a record, live right across the weekend. So wherever you're watching, it is great to have your company. Don't forget, if you'd like to get involved in the chat on Twitter, at World Rugby Sevens, at World Rugby 7S. We'd love to hear from you.
All ready? Red ready?
Portugal, they're 13th on the HSBC Sevens World Series ladder on 13 points. As we've already seen, they can be competitive at times, and now Jenkins puts the foot down, and it was a good tackle. Estevez, who's been everywhere for Portugal, and now the penalty goes against Portugal. Lewis Holland. He finds touch. Pedro Neto on the left of screen is the coach.
And unfortunately for Pedro Neto and his team, Leal has been the person who's been in the sim, and you try and do too much sometimes, and he was the one that gave away that penalty.
So Foley holds it up and then gives a good ball to Stannard and Holland, and now Clark gives it to Palmer Foe, and Foe straightens up to the 22. Holland back to Foley. Myers ducked under one. They managed to hold on to him, but he does well to get over the advantage line. Now they've got a good line up out to the left, and Holland dummies, got it around the corner to Palmer Foe, and away you go, Palmer Foe again. He can sniff out a try, second for the day.
Captain.
Yes, and good work here by Australia. Took across one side, perfect sevens, brought it across the other side as well. Showed the ball and around behind the back. Very good work, great skills there, and good backing up there by Palmafo. It's the first time he's really injected himself into the game at the moment, and good way to score a try.
Runs it around in front of the post, so an easy 2 points for James Stannard. So 17 points to 0. Palmafo made the dream team, the team of the tournament in Port Elizabeth, scoring 11 tries, 2 already to date. Estevez also has 2 as well for Portugal. And there's Lewis Holland, who made his debut at this event as an 18-year-old, now 22 years of age, a man from Queanbeyan. Same town as the great David Campisi.
Who's going off? Who's going off? Come on, gentlemen, you got it. Who's going off?
And just while we're having the subs being corrected on the field,
Table, please,
Australia just looking a little bit tentative at the moment, and by and large in the main part of the game you'd figure that Portugal wouldn't be competitive, but they are putting pressure on Australia, and even though they scored that try, Australia don't look like they're having they're all their own way at the moment.
No, and that's a terrible kick-off from Stannard, so an opportunity now with 4.5 minutes remaining for Portugal just to get themselves back into the game. 17-0 is the scoreline, and Leal looks to work something over to the right. Guedes, and not a good pass. Lino goes to ground, and it pops out the side there. So good work by Australia. And Stannard now gives it to Myers, and Jeladev. He's on there for Palmafo, and Jeladev gets it out to Cameron Clark, and he should be able to stroll over now. Away he goes for his second try of the day. Jeladev and Clark combining on that occasion. So 22 points to 0. That might just be enough now to just burst the Portuguese bubble a little bit.
And as the conversions are waiting to be taken, yeah, Portugal are just looking a little bit tight at the moment. They've gone away from doing what worked for them very well in the first half, really attacking that ball. Estevez hasn't done much. Some great work here out to Jeladev. Breaks out of the tackle and again commits that last defender. And Cameron Clark, again, good support, running good straight lines around under the post. And now that makes it so much easier when you're banking those points up and you're scoring under the post, making it easier for your conversions.
24 points to 0, and good contest in the air on that occasion, and it's going to come back for Portugal. It's important for them to try and make something of their effort so far, because they have asked some questions of the more fancied Australian team, but going nowhere at the moment. Good support play on the inside, and again from Miranda, the captain. It's on the ground. Can Leal get a good bounce? No. Lost forward. So they'll come back for the scrum. So looking very much it is Australia safely through to the quarterfinals in Pool C. They are 4th on the HSBC Sevens ladder going into this event. First time for over a decade they've been 4th after the first 3 events. So they have struggled at times early on in the series, finishing strongly most years.
And that's fantastic for Portugal and World Rugby as well. And let's hope Portugal can pull one out of the bag, but unfortunately they've just, again, they've just sort of dropped their bundle a little bit.
Yes, it was Nick Maloof who offloaded to Greg Jeladev, so a bit of impact from the bench there. 2 of the guys coming off the bench combining.
And unfortunately for Portugal, they're looking a little bit tight at the moment. Again, good, hard, determined running there by Australia. Taking it to the defensive line of the Portuguese, and Jeladev, good support. And making the Portuguese pay for just being a little bit down on their defensive effort.
Stannard. Can't add the extra 2 this time, but it's safe for Australia. So they managed to clear the bench as well, which is a good sign, because Australia has a very familiar look about the starting 7, and you just need the other 5 in the squad to gain as much experience as possible if they are going to contest that top 4 and qualify automatically for Rio 2016. Alan Fa'alauval, the 21-year-old from Endeavour Hills in Victoria, is on there in jersey 10. Now it goes to Leal. Taken. Good tackle. Jaladev. And he forced the mistake. Yes, Olympic qualifying didn't happen in your day. What an exciting year it is for these teams. Brazil already there. They're the host nation in 2016. But the top 4 after the 9 events on this HSBC Sevens World Series will automatically qualify.
Yeah, and I think there is a lot of tension within all the dressing rooms with all these teams thinking about that. It'll be in the back of everyone's mind because who would like to miss out on the Olympics? No one. So these teams are up there and they want to be there, but it's going to be tight and there's going to be a lot of tears at the end of this year, I think.
Here's Nick Malouf. Has a great step and plenty of toe as well. The man from Queensland Uni. Oh, and a close call there for another Queensland Uni representative in Confolding. Now it's Fa'alauval. Oh, and he just tried to offload and it went out of his grasp, went forward. So final say here to Portugal, and almost through. The supporters there as well, but so too was the defender, and so the penalty goes to Australia. And well, it's safe and sound now, but I reckon these boys will be pretty keen to try and finish with a bit of a flourish, especially those coming off the bench. Want to make the most of their time out there. No, Foley says, I started the game and I'll finish it. And so it is out on the full. And after a bit of a shaky start,